Good morning. It's that time again, 4:44 a.m. Time to ground some truths into the planet here and into the human consciousness, mine included. The title that I've chosen for today is Government Corporations Acting in Breach of Trust. As I consciously choose to enter the matrix in order to extricate myself and others from its system of fraud, albeit not totally a free choice, one glaring truth catches my attention. Virtually all government corporations are operating in breach of trust. And everything that happens in the matrix is based on trusts. The way governments have been operating in the world since 1666 is based on a Sedeke trust in which the people are assumed dead, lost at sea. Yes, that's a fiction. And everything in our world, in the matrix, is based on that fiction, that we are dead. In a sense, it has been true. We have been dead to our own reality, unconscious and ignorant. All that is changing as we awaken, and while each of us must awaken individually, we cannot be truly free in our bodies until we call the actors in the drama on their breach of trust in order to at least level the playing field. It is a struggle for freedom that affects everyone, like it or not. These are not easy truths to accept and deal with, yet deal with them we must. Otherwise, humans will remain entrapped in a prison system where we are slaves. This is a workshop weekend, and normally I would be talking about the wonderful things being experienced in the workshop. But even right up until the time that the workshop started, my mind was troubled, and I was feeling frustration in dealing with the system as more and more things come in regard to the federal lawsuit that I'm involved in as plaintiff. And I'm seeing the games that are being played by not just the court, but now other parties are starting to get things coming in from other parties. I haven't even fully explored some of them yet because 2 more just came in yesterday. And I haven't even figured out all that's happening. But I'm realizing as I sit here or sat in the meditation room and meditation earlier, I'm realizing that it's not just me that feels trapped and frustrated. The people that are running the system also feel a sense of frustration. In my particular instant case, the other attorneys, especially the attorneys that have been trying to steal my house for all these years, they've got to be feeling a sense of frustration because I keep resisting their efforts and making them act. And they're calling on the case again. They're trying to ignore the issues and deal with rules that do not follow the law. And the law, of course, in the United States is the Constitution. That is the contract. That is the trust that people, that government officials, courts, police, everybody that works for the government is working for a trust. And they are all in breach of their trust, but they don't know it. They don't know it. They are ignorant, as we've all been ignorant, which is why we can't say, well, we've got to destroy these people, because destroying those people doesn't really change anything if we don't understand who we are. If we don't understand that we have an inheritance, that we have rights that are given to us by our Creator, that we are more than just flesh and blood human beings, but are we going to redeem the body or reject the body? Are we going to redeem the ability to live a physical existence where appearances are that we are separate, and have a meaningful and loving and peaceful existence as physical beings? Or are we going to just throw the physical aside and say the whole physical creation was just a mistake? These are some of the things that come to me. And for those of you that use meditation just to escape the world, well, I'm going to go up into some ethereal realm and I'm going to imagine myself to be there so that I don't have to deal with the issues of being in a body in a world where everyone is involved in slave trading one way or another. And where contracts are created in ignorance because we don't know any better, because we don't know what we are doing, because we don't know who we are. If anything, the lawsuits to me are a gift to make me look deeper at the dynamics that are in play in my life. But they're not just in play in my life. I see that so clearly. This is the whole world we're talking about. This is the whole of humanity we're talking about. It's not a matter of some escape from this prison. Not for me, anyway. Maybe that's where a lot of you still are, or maybe that's where some of you still are. It's not about escape and going into a different reality because this one sucks. It's a matter of transforming this reality so that beings like us can live in a physical body and be free. And we can't do that as long as we allow the trustees of the trust, which are government officials here in the United States and around the world, if we allow them to keep getting away and not calling them on their breach of trust and not calling them on their BS so that they can be free and we can be free, we will continue this game of constant recycling, of evolution going on and on and on, never reaching the pinnacle of awakening, of enlightenment, of love, of compassion, of knowing who we are and honoring one another as spirit beings with physical bodies. I am this. I am. And I am more than this. I am. And so are you. So are you. I would choose anything. I said I made the conscious choice to enter the matrix. And yet, not a totally free choice. Would I be learning these things if it was not for the events that are happening in my life, the circumstances in which I find myself? Would I be learning these things at all? No, I wouldn't. I'd be just like all the other complacent, lazy people on the planet that don't care and just as long as they can watch their TV and drink their beer and root for their sports teams or watch the latest reality show on TV or interact on social networks online or whatever, all the things that we're caught up in. I would be just caught up in them and thinking that everything was wonderful, maybe, or maybe not. But I'm thrust into the midst of this game, and I have a choice. How do I want to respond to it? I want to respond by liberating myself from the lie, liberating myself from the untruth that I'm dead and that the world system, the matrix, sees me as dead, sees me as a slave of my own ignorance and takes advantage of that ignorance. Oh yes, it's not an easy road. I thought it was going to be easier. I hoped it was going to be easier after 2011 and 2012. I thought that massive visible changes were going to appear, but they're not here yet because most people haven't awakened yet. I praise Heather and her One People's Public Trust because I do think that that's an important element in our liberation. We've got to do this based on the law and based on truth. Yeah, I'd like to be free of it all. I'd like to not have to deal with it. And I know a lot of you can say, yeah, me too. I don't want to deal with it either. I'd rather do anything than deal with these things because they're painful. It hurts. We realize how high the cost has been to take on bodies and to be part of a physical creation on a physical planet with physical laws and with artificial laws imposed because of our ignorance. Yeah, we've all been in breach of trust because God entrusted us, our Creator entrusted us with a physical body. And we've gone a lot of different ways in how we deal with that. Many times in our spiritual and religious communities, we've negated the body. We've negated the feminine, which the physical is always the receptive expression, if you will, of the life force, the masculine life force penetrating the material realm. Yeah, we've rejected the feminine, but it means we've rejected the physical. And that's a path that many still choose, and many have chosen over the ages, but it's not a path that will liberate us. We must choose to redeem the material realm, to redeem the feminine, to redeem the physical creation. Yes, we can make it vibrate at a higher rate. It can become less dense. But I choose consciously to work toward the awakening in myself and in humanity, where we all honor the trust we've been given by being incarnated in flesh, which is what incarnation means. It means not flesh. To be carnate means to be meat. I'm just thinking about words. Yeah, we are not just flesh, but we are flesh. This is the vehicle of our experience. This is the vehicle of our earthly reality. I choose to try my very best to redeem it for myself and for all of my brothers and sisters, so that we can live in a world that we are really free and no longer slaves to our own ignorance, because it is. It's mine, it's yours, belongs to all of us. Whether we're the 1% or 99%, when we're operating against any part of the whole, we are operating against ourselves. The law of one must hold, and we must recognize the interconnectedness of all life, or we will continue the cycle of death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth, over and over and over again. Destruction, annihilation, and starting over. We've done it before as a world. We have a choice. Do we want to keep doing it that way? Is that the way we want the game to keep being played? I would like to think that we have a choice to choose a better way. Are you with me? I love who I am. And I love who you are. And together, we can change ourselves and the world. Namaste.